everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So for today's video we're going to be doing a Durham versus Cambridge University, which university is better video. As a student who went to both of those unis, I'll be comparing the colleges, the formals, the towns themselves, and just giving you my insider insight into which university I preferred overall, so make sure to stay for that at the very end of the video. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe down below and hit the thumbs up button if you like this kind of content, and without further ado, let's get on with the rest of the video. So in terms of colleges, the difference between Durham and Cambridge is that Durham has about 17 colleges, whereas Cambridge has about 31 colleges. I feel like at Durham, your college doesn't determine your whole experience of your university time, whereas I feel at Cambridge that determines it a little bit more so, because I feel like because there's less colleges at Durham and because it's just a smaller place in general, there is sort of more intercollegiate mixing, whereas at Cambridge, because there's so many, I don't think there's any way, unless you specifically put your mind to it, that you would just randomly happen to visit like all of the colleges at one point or another. So at Durham, I feel like, especially with society meetups and so on, and just like because it's smaller and maybe there's like less people or something, then like you'll probably go to like almost every single college at some point. Whereas at Cambridge, I also think there's like stricter rules about like entering the college, and also there's so many of them, and some of them are like quite far away or like hidden away that sometimes you don't even know how to enter them. There were like so many times when I had events that I needed to go to and I literally couldn't find the college, and I was asking people on the street, I was like trying to get maps on my phone because I was like, where is this place? Because there's like so many just tucked away. So I think in regards to colleges, it's easier to navigate around Durham, but that doesn't mean that Cambridge doesn't have its pros. Like the colleges there are absolutely beautiful, as you will have probably seen. If you haven't already, I'll like link some blog posts down below on my Instagram, so you can see some lovely pictures of Cambridge. Both towns or cities even, are absolutely beautiful. Durham's just a lot smaller, and Cambridge itself is actually quite small, but in comparison to Durham, it is bigger. The second thing that we're going to compare are the formals. Formal events are like dinners and so on that either with your societies that you join, or the colleges that you're at, or the friends that you make, you'll go to different colleges to go to a formal dinner. Lots of these are themed, for example, like a Halloween theme or a Christmas theme, but then some of them are just like, it's literally just a very fancy dinner. Like some colleges do them every week, some do it every day, some of them will do it a lot less frequently. So at Durham, you probably would be able to go to any kind of formal that you want to. If you find like a friend at that college, you could be like, I want to go to that formal. I think at Cambridge as well, it is the same for that. I don't think there is a difference. It's probably harder to get into some of the formals, especially at some of the colleges which are sort of known to be very elitist. But that isn't to say that, you know, it isn't a bit of a struggle at Durham as well. Although because there are less colleges and everyone kind of knows everyone at Durham, whereas that is not the case at Cambridge in my experience. I feel like it might be easier to experience more formals at Durham than at Cambridge. However, the formals at both are absolutely great. The colleges that you'll be dining in are beautiful, so it's going to be amazing. There's probably more oldie worldy colleges at Cambridge, whereas at Durham, some of them are very new, but they're still really, really fun to go to. I think that the food was better at Cambridge in my experience, but then again, I went to probably less formals at Cambridge than I did at Durham, so I don't know how it is at like every single college. Events are amazing at both universities. I think that Cambridge probably has a lot more events, like just different society events, because you know it's a bigger campus, there's probably more people there, there's a lot more colleges, there's probably therefore more societies as well. But the events at Durham were so much fun. As I've said in like previous videos that I'll link down below, I did about 13 fashion shows at Durham, whereas I didn't actually have that many event experiences at Cambridge because, like I just said, we were asked to leave campus like in the middle of second term. So I didn't get to experience all those events that I would have liked to. Like I was beginning to organise a fashion show at Cambridge, which is like kind of unheard of because the colleges don't individually do their own apparently, so that was kind of going to be like a first, and that was going to be really exciting, but obviously because of coronavirus I couldn't do that. So I have more event experience at Durham, and those events were really fun, and it is particularly good because I feel like you know more people at Durham because it is a smaller, more tight-knit community, whereas at Cambridge I feel like because there's like 31 colleges, as I said, there's just no way that you can know absolutely everyone there, and I feel like because the colleges are like either tucked away, or especially my class sizes were very small at Cambridge. There was about 15 of us in our class, whereas at Durham there could have been like 50 of us. So I feel like there's more opportunities to meet people, but that might have just been because I was doing a more niche course when I was at Cambridge than at Durham. Another thing to compare between the universities is the library. So at Durham the main library is the Bill Bryson Library, whereas at Cambridge the main library is the UL or University Library. So I'm sure you'll have seen both structures. If you haven't, give them a quick Google. At Durham, the library, I really liked it. It was very new and it had like this massive glass panelling along one side where the staircase is, so it let a lot of natural light into the library, and I feel like the organisation system was very good from what I remember. I feel like it was organised by like subject, and it was just very easy to navigate your way around. Whereas when I first went to the UL at Cambridge, I was kind of confused because you have to, I mean at both universities you have to like scan a card to get in, but at Cambridge you aren't actually allowed to take in your bags, which sounds like, oh my god, how am I going to actually work in the library? But it's a case of you need to put all your bags in like lockers that are just down like a little staircase, and then you can like take in like your laptop and whatever. But I feel like that's a lot more difficult. Obviously it's like a safety thing and that's fine, but it was a bit like of a shock to the system, and I feel like it's kind of one of those things that people who are at Cambridge think it's like initial intimidation, whereas at Durham we didn't have that, at least at that time. I don't know if that's going to change at some point. I also think that the library system at Cambridge was a lot more complicated because it was a ginormous library. As you'll probably know, it is a copyright library, which means that they have like every single book that's been published in England for like the last, I don't know how many years, many years. So they have hundreds of thousands of books, and what they don't have in a physical copy, they have as an electronic copy. However, you have to be on campus to actually access those, as I found out when I wasn't on campus and had to like do my dissertation and I couldn't access anything. However, the library system at Cambridge is a little bit more complicated, as I said, because it's just a lot of books, and they aren't necessarily by subject, and I'm sure that they were at Durham, whereas at Cambridge, because it's just so many, I don't even know what the system is. There's so many different parts of that library and it's absolutely amazing to look around. I feel like you can actually visit it, but I'm not sure if you have to have a campus card to do that, or you have to be with someone who has a campus card to do that. But you can definitely go into like the foyer bit as a visitor, and it is an absolutely incredible library. However, I do not know what the organisation system there was, but it is quite fun to work in, although there are certain books that you have to be in a certain room to actually read them, like you can't take them out of those rooms, and so on. But I guess it's like that at Durham as well. So the town centres themselves are quite different. As I mentioned, Cambridge is a little bit bigger than Durham, even though in comparison to somewhere like London or just a giant city, it does seem like kind of small. So at Durham, there are like less shops, I would say, but they have all the ones that you would need as a university student. They have a Tesco, they have a mini Sainsbury's, they have like lots of bookshops, they have like Waterstones, they have a bookshop called the People's Bookshop, which is a more like political bookshop, and they have stationery shops like Paperchase and Ryman's, and I feel like you've got everything that you need there. Also, Newcastle is a 10-minute train ride away, York is like 40 minutes away, Edinburgh is about 1 hour 40 away. As I said in my other video, I've got a blog post which is like everything Durham that you will need to know, and I will link that down below. I also on my blog did like weekly blog diary posts from my time at Cambridge, so I'll also link that down below too. So at Cambridge, the town is a lot bigger, but I was at a college that, because it's a bigger place, was a lot further out, so it would probably take me around about 20 minutes to walk into town. Maybe that's even if I was walking quickly. It was quite a hike. Like if I walked to town and back, I would have done my 10,000 steps and then some. So Cambridge's town is bigger and they probably do have more shops. They also have an M&S. Durham used to have an M&S, but that got shut down, which is very sad. But yeah, Cambridge has an M&S, which is fabulous. They have a TK Maxx. They have a Waterstones, which has a great cafe in there. They have like a Victoria's Secret Pink. They have loads of shops and it is great. They have a Le Creuset, they have a L'Occitane, they have like really great shops. And also London is only about 50 minutes away on the train. So that's amazing as well. I would say that shop-wise, I guess Cambridge has better shops. However, I feel like Durham has everything that you'd possibly need. So they're kind of equal on that one. So I know people like to know about the gyms at the universities as well. And from what I remember, I feel like each Durham college probably has like a small area where you can work out, and I think that it'll be the same for the Cambridge colleges, except at my college at Cambridge we had a really good gym. There was actually two gyms. They were small, but they had everything that I needed, whereas my Durham college, which was St. Mary's, it was a great college, but I don't think it did have a gym, or because I remember people like were working out outside the college, so I feel like they wouldn't have been doing that if there was a proper gym. But each town has their own like big gyms that are not necessarily like student gyms. Although Durham also had a student gym, which was like an intercollegiate one at Maiden Castle, which you could buy membership for. It was small, but I guess if you wanted to just be around students and maybe like you and your student friends want to just like work in there, then that's fine. Although that was small, that was a very small gym. Cambridge also has a intercollegiate student gym, and theirs is actually massive. I can't remember, I think it's just called the Sports Centre or something, and it's where like a lot of sport teams did their workouts as well, and there was a big gym there from my memory. I didn't actually like walk around the gym bit, but it looked huge, and I think that that would actually be a really good one to go to. However, it was quite far out. The reason why I didn't even pay it any attention is because it was so far away from my college. It was at the other side of town and then like out a bit. I don't know which college that would have been closest to. Probably like the ones on the other side of town, which is probably like Lucy Cavendish or something. Like it was just so far away. So even if you were at somewhere like Queen's, it's still a little bit of a weird walk out. And I feel like if you didn't get the bus there, I mean, you'd probably like, if you were cycling, I guess you'd eventually get to know how to get there, but I don't know, it was a bit confusing to me. So both have non-student gyms as well. Durham has Freeman's Quay, which is very big. It's a good gym. I quite liked it. I went there for quite a bit. They also have smaller ones like at the bottom of North Road. There is one like, I would recommend like walking around the gym before buying a membership to any of these places, by the way. And at Cambridge there are a couple of massive non-student gyms that are called pure gyms, and I'm sure that if you're a gym person you will have known all about pure gyms. They look like the Freeman's Quay gym. They're huge, very modern. They probably also have like a swimming pool. So if you're looking for like a big gym, maybe go to something like that. However, check out your colleges if they have one, because my college at Cambridge had a great gym and that's all I was using whilst I was there. Finally, the thing to discuss would be lectures themselves. So I did my undergrad at Durham and my postgrad at Cambridge, so I think that my experiences will be slightly biased because I spent more time at Durham and because like my Cambridge experience was disrupted midway through. However, I feel like doing my undergrad at Durham was amazing and I loved all my lectures. There was such a wide variety. Obviously you get to pick like 6 modules. Some of them are compulsory, like in my first year they were all compulsory, but after that it was like only like 3 of them were compulsory, and then you could like pick and choose from the options that were available to you. And I think that because I had a wide variety, there were a lot more lecturers that I could meet that were like, I found to be really great lecturers and who I really enjoyed being taught by, who I enjoyed being supervised by. Obviously not everyone is going to be your favourite lecturer, but I feel like the variety at Durham was actually really, really good, at least in the subjects that I did, which was English literature and education studies. The staff there was so good and I really enjoyed like working with them. I enjoyed being a student with them as my teachers. At Cambridge I had a lot less variety because I was doing one subject I didn't really have beforehand. I feel like they didn't advise me with like how many lessons and so on I would be getting, and it was very, very few. So I only had a couple of different lecturers whilst I was at Cambridge, and I feel like therefore, and maybe it's just because I was doing a master's and you don't get as much variety, or it's because it was a niche subject, but there was definitely not a lot of variety, and some of the lectures that I would have been having, there were strikes whilst I was there, so I didn't get to see those ones. So for that reason I definitely preferred Durham and their lecturing style, and there was like a lot more people in the classes as well, which I also really enjoyed. Regardless of which university you choose to go to, there's going to be such a wide variety of people, and obviously you're not going to know before you go what the people are going to be like at the university or at the college that you pick. You don't have to base your entire university experience around the college that you pick or are assigned to. Of course, you can try and make friends from people in your lectures and people at the societies that you decide to go to. I would highly recommend going to the society like induction weeks during Freshers Week. I hope that this video has given you a little bit of insight into what it's like at Durham versus being at Cambridge. I think overall I preferred my Durham experience, but perhaps that is because I was doing a broader subject when I was there, and I was there for 3 years, whereas like I said, I was doing a more niche subject whilst I was at Cambridge, and obviously my Cambridge experience was cut short by coronavirus. I think that both universities are amazing. I think I go along with life as like the it is what you make of it type thing, so even if there are negatives, always try and find the positives. So like if there aren't people that you are like particularly fond of, maybe in one of your years, spend some time with yourself, grow as a person, join loads of societies, do your own thing, and you'll like come out so much stronger, and then the next year you'll be like the most confident person in the world. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't already. Please let me know in the comments what kind of content you would like me to make next, if there's any more university content that you would like me to make, for example, and I will also link loads of blog posts, loads of resources, my Instagram and so on down below too. Thank you so much for watching this week's video, and I can't wait to see you in my next one very, very soon. Bye!